Welcome to Software Leaders Uncensored with Steve Taplin. Welcome to Software Leaders Uncensored, where tech leaders drop the filters and just tell it like it is. I'm your host, Steve Taplin, a serial technology entrepreneur, a guy who's launched 30 companies, scaled at 20 of those, but scaled 10 to success. And I turned that roller coaster of a ride into my book, Fail Hard, Win Big. This is where I teach you how to turn failure into your biggest competitive advantage and how custom software played a defining role in every win. Now I'm the CEO of Sonatify Technology. We're a custom software development company with resources throughout the US and Latin America, and we help scale existing engineering teams with our talent. Today, we have a fun guest, Priya V, out of the San Francisco, California area. Priya has been an engineer, held executive roles at huge companies like SAP, IBM, Microsoft, and is now CEO at a company called ASAPP, which we're excited to learn more. Priya, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me. Before we get started, I certainly need a signed copy of that book. I'm going to be reading it.
That is fair. And after the show, you'll have to email me the best address to send it to. And then thank you for asking that. It's my life story of entrepreneurial lessons, to say the least. And it's the book I've talked about writing about for the past 10 years. And finally took the time to do it. And, a lot of people are embarrassed to talk about their failures. I've had a lot of companies. I've been a serial entrepreneur. And I found once I got over being embarrassed and how I always used a failure if you're not failing, in my opinion, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. You're not pushing your company further. And if you're not failing there, I think you're not doing something right, in my opinion. And that's what my book is about. So thank you so much, Priya. Take a few minutes and walk our listeners through the journey of your career and all the exciting roles you've held at large tech and what you're doing now.
Yeah, fantastic to be chatting with you and sharing this journey. And Priya Vijayarajendran, in short, I go by Priya V, as Steve introduced. And
Thank you, Priya.
yeah, and I started as an engineer, so primarily sharpening my skills on writing the best code, taking harder problems and going deeper. Especially my expertise is in building large enterprise software. I could call practically SAP as my home because I was with the company for almost 19 years, building across different domains of SAP software, all the way from core to foundational systems to CRM and on-demand software, and grew up to be leading innovation at SAP just before I transitioned out. So my journey as an engineer, a problem solver, as a builder has been applying technology and learning different frameworks and techniques to solve most complex problems. There was a point in time in my career where I transitioned to be an architect, where I'm looking at the big picture. I'm trying to see the connection between the enterprise systems, and especially when big data started coming, how data, which kind of existed within the system and also outside the system, was very, very influential about what decisions. I mean, we all know concepts of systems of record and systems of intelligence, how these all came together. So as a technologist, you're just not enough to be having the best engineering chops. You need to have a lot of applied skills, applied engineering skills. So it is a inflection point in my own personal journey. And then I took a lot of leadership positions. So people who can make better judgment, understanding what problems to solve, grew big in their technical career. And I put myself as a good example of that. So it allowed me to make better business decisions. That's my journey, SAP. And then, I thought I was taking a different turn, but then I went into another great company, IBM, where I was in front of the customer trying to understand not just the concept of big data, but the cusp of AI, because, IBM was one of the early ones boldly putting AI in front of the real enterprise scenarios.
IBM's been talking about Watson since the 90s.
Exactly, right? And, I go right into the middle of where the action is happening. And then I went to Microsoft, fantastic journey, transformed me not just as a technologist, but as a strategist, a leader on understanding, what are some of the transformative? Because every enterprise has existing investments which they are trying to make sense. There is complexity in even adopting new tech, how much of a mind blowing it is. I'm talking about the phase where LLMs didn't happen at that point in time. Generative AI didn't burst that bubble yet. Even then, companies were trying to understand about cloud. And I ran a data and AI business at Microsoft, which was absolutely a fascinating experience. And after that, once you're a technologist, you're always a technologist at the heart. So I wanted to bring back the novelty after close to 3 decades of enterprise software experience on how do I go and build something? So I looked for something which is like scale of the problem to be larger and, uh, customer interactions, context, and just if you're calling at least two of your brands on a daily basis to get your customer service things answered. And, if you and I are calling, you can imagine there are about 800 billion interactions which is happening daily, and less than 5% of them is contained by AI. What could be a more exciting problem space for a technologist like me to go and bring the power of AI? That's why I chose ASAP. And I wanted to be part of the building team, the making team. I joined as a CTO and I grew within the company. There was an opportunity. ASAP is backed by amazing board members and investors. There was an opportunity to be the CEO, and I transitioned from an interim to be a permanent CEO beginning of the year. So I've been loving this journey. And I can see this happening to many of the technologists, CTOs, chief product officers to, take the executing the business responsibility as a CEO as well. Yeah.
Well, what an amazing story, Priya, and thanks for sharing that. And I love how your journey, you started, as an engineer solving problems, grew to an architect to be able to see wider, and you've had the viewpoint of multiple different companies. And that's really cool to hear that at ASAP you started as CTO and was able to transition as CEO. So hats off to you. You're a rare individual who understands the technology and obviously knows how to communicate that to non-technical people, which I don't know what's harder, is managing the tech teams or the other execs or board members or investors that don't understand tech.
I think the bridge, it used to be a difference before, but now, Steve, who's not a technologist these days? As AI users, everybody has to speak technology. Like, so I feel like the technology advancements have made it easy. I'm not having a very different conversation with my board members or external investors or even customers, so to speak, right? They're very informed and learned. But it always feels good to know what you're talking about with your tech teams. They do appreciate the details that you're aware of. So it helps us to get that speed that we all can get out of our products launches to our customers. Yeah.
So tell us more about ASAP. And you guys are an AI native customer service for enterprise contact centers. Tell us more.
Yeah. ASAP was founded at the very crux of what every single one of us feel every day. You get on you're stuck. You either have an issue with either your telephone company or your airlines, you're trying to change your ticket or you're trying to pay your bill or anything, and you're stuck. And most oftentimes, it's either a 30-minute waiting time or you're repeating the problem like 3 times. Your call
Mhm.
gets hung up, you're routed to 3 different departments.
And I don't know that there's anything more frustrating than that.
Exact. None of us are ending the conversation, even with the digital chat, which is possible. And then we all are like, oh my God, I don't want to talk to a chatbot. In spite of all the amazing technologies which is happening there, this is still the customer experience we feel today. We all deserve better. If AI can do very many complex things, like today, the research which you and I used to do, searching information and then putting it and reasoning, you're able to do it in like seconds and minutes, actually. When such a powerful capability, especially in the NLP side of the house and voice technology has happened largely, I'm not talking about a cool autonomous voice agents trying to tell you, Steve, yes, go ahead. This is your order. It's coming tomorrow. It's about taking the complexity of the enterprise handling. That's exactly what ASAP is solving, Steve. Taking the power of what generative AI has matured so far, but keeping it real, translating into real business outcome. Like Steve and Priya should not wake up tomorrow with the same problem. That's the true transformation. I'm not talking about, oh, let me take the first 1 minute of what Steve is talking to a call center agent in an airlines to be automated by AI. That's like reducing tad bit of it. Then you're like, oh, Steve, you asked a tricky question. Let me give it to my agent. Then you're like, damn it, again, I have to go through it. That's not really solving it. So it's not about automating a conversation. It's about really driving efficiency to the entire workflow. And that's ASAP almost reimagining the customer experience and future proofing it with AI and mainly focusing on enterprises. So
Excellent.
our customers are the large airlines that you fly in and the major telcos, the cable providers, the largest retailers that you shop every day. Those are our customers. Yeah.
Well, I think I could say with certainty that 99% of the people out there want to see your company succeed because that is a problem that there's lots of areas for improvement, to say the least. What are some cool projects you guys are working on right now?
So we started, the journey has been, let's all solve the human to human, because every contact center agents should feel like they are the best agent and bring the productivity. That's like, almost a decade old. It's still,
Mhm.
you and I had the pain of it, but yeah, it was less painful, let me put it, but the pain didn't go away. So now the cool things that we are working on is, as we go through this complex enterprise, Steve can handle pretty much on, hey, reset my password. My bank portal is not logging in. Those things you like to be serviced by an AI agent, because you're like, cool, I don't have to have a waiting time, etc. But when it comes to a fraud, you definitely want to make sure there is more eyes, there is more right supervisory eyes on top of it. So ASAP, for the as a pioneering, as a first of its kind, have a very differentiated human in the loop, human plus AI for enterprises. This also allows enterprises to launch the AI technology with confidence, because you don't have to worry about AI making a mistake, number one. And also for a consumer, it's very reassuring that a human can also catch it and approve it. That's one. Second is also learning, because if, for example, Steve is not being best served and Priya is in the line call 3 minutes later, the same mistake shouldn't happen to Priya. That's the power of AI. It can self learn, it can fine tune so much. So that's the second thing. There is tons of cool stuff which we are working on: AI governance and privacy and reliability, because you don't want your data to be searched by somebody in Kansas.
Right.
That's really matters a lot. Or even talk about hallucinations. You don't want to be advised on a wrong thing where, you make some decisions about it. So we are working on it. But the future of contact center. So I'm very thrilled, Steve. Its timing is amazing, because tomorrow we are having a grand reveal of our future of customer experience. So in short words, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but tomorrow I'll be thrilled if you.
Can you give us just a taste without spoiling it?
Yes, I'm thrilled I got an opportunity.
Well, and Priya, let me even preface that we do record these podcasts and they're typically aired 2 weeks after recording. So by the time this episode's live, your announcement should be out. But
Yeah,
whatever you feel comfortable kind of teasing us with, because that's an interesting topic of the future of call centers.
let's go on record then. I am sharing the preview of what's the grand reveal first with Steve then.
I love it. We're honored.
Yeah. So the future of customer experience is, today you're desperate on, can I not talk to an agent? I'm having a bold promise. I'm challenging the market and every enterprise. What if you're able to guarantee a personal concierge agent to every single one of your customer? That's an AI agent which is personalized, which has the memory. Now, every time when Steve or anybody, any customer is talking, texting, or digital chatting, or any medium of interaction that you choose to, not just reactive, but also proactive, there is always your personal agent talking to you. So it knows, Steve, how was your flight 2 weeks ago? By the way, what can I do for you? So it's like you have your own personal assistant servicing you. So there's never waiting time. You're never deflected. You're never explaining your problem again. They have the full context of what they are serving. It's a true customer experience platform. It's just not a contact center automation platform. That's what we are unveiling. So it's got memory, it's got context, it's got multimodality, all of it. So we are reimagining the future of CX. You will notice this customer experience looks very different. It's powered by ASAP. That's what I want enterprises to feel it. I want consumers to feel like, Kada, I feel like I'm talking to Stacy all the time. She never sleeps and Stacy's on, and Stacy's your AI agent. Stacy knows to bring in Benjamin, who's a human agent, if she needs help. That's kind of the experience we are going after.
Very cool and very exciting. And, with the advancements of generative and agentic AI over the past couple years, it's great to see companies like ASAP and improving the call center experience, because that is definitely an area and a tough challenge with the sheer volume of calls and the different levels of people calling. Not an easy challenge, and it's great to see how you guys are attacking it. Tell us about your brilliant engineering team that's pulling this off, and how you manage your engineers and the work models you guys follow at ASAP.
So ASAP is a very research powered and maker culture company, because 80% of the company is technology. And we have always beta as my way of operating things, because, especially the pace of technology, what we are seeing is so unprecedented. Like every day you are looking at what foundational model improvements has been there. Because the problems, which was almost like 5 6 years ago, the problems are, I need a clean interface, a UI interface to solve it. I need an ability of full stackness is not the problems anymore. You could literally generate UI using code productivity tools, right? So the first order principles, the foundational principles of how we built our software is fundamentally, that's what truly I call it AI native. AI native is not just showing the cool things and saying that, yes, we use cloud and cursor and all that. That doesn't make us AI native. The first order principles of how we design software has to be changed. So we do definitely look for modularity. We look for easy integration. We look for frictionless software. We should be able to land within an enterprise, integrate with their existing systems, and as much as needed, completely low friction, self-serviceability. That's kind of the design principles of how we build software. So there is, to me, confidently talk about technology as the differentiating factor of ASAP. And behind me, there is a powerful team of about close to 200 people, Steve. They are a global team. They are in different parts of the globe, predominantly in United States. We do have a team in India, and we also have a team in Argentina as well, because we do support customers 24/7 across the globe. So tapping global talent certainly was much needed for the company to grow and scale. Yeah.
And are your engineering teams spread across those locations as well?
Yes, so they are, because that's the only way we can scale. A little bit like I led large distributed teams, and it's like follow the sun model. So the development never stops. So somebody's always working at ASAP, not just the AI. Humans are also working all the time. So that's the model we follow.
And are you guys remote, hybrid, in office?
So when COVID happened, there were a lot of them kind of settled in parts of the world which felt comfortable and assuring for them. So we are hybrid. We are strictly hybrid. We do have a beautiful office in 80th floor of World Trade Center in New York, which is our headquarters. So if you lack any bit of inspiration, you can watch the window and see Statue of Liberty.
Nice.
And well, I can't stare while I'm staring a social security office and our Mountain View office, because it's in the heart of Silicon Valley. We do have a fantastic location in Bangalore as well, and the same in Buenos Aires. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so do you have, for software engineers, are they in the office like 3 days a week? How do you manage that?
Yeah. So we definitely do 2 days in person. And depending on the teams, if they are very, very global and they work in different hours, they choose the third day. But definitely we are 2 to 3 days in office. Yes.
Gotcha. No, appreciate you sharing that. And once again, it's cool to see a software engineer with the evolution you've had be the CEO of this amazing challenge to solve on fixing contact centers everywhere. So I love it. What, Priya, as a tech leader, what are some of your biggest challenges you're facing right now?
Time to market, generally, it's not just the tech leader. So I always try to focus on two things. One is the clarity of the problem pretty much accelerates the solution. I'm a firm believer in this. There are multiple ways to say this, to say, if you know, if you can define your problem, then you've almost solved it. Maybe it's comes from an engineering mindset, but also in the enterprise software world, especially when we are going in front of the customer, the fact that we understand their pain points and what exactly will solve the problem. I mean, I can have a vision of dreaming a very future forward customer experience, but that's not what it's going to move the needle for the customer. Then you can imagine how my adoption is going to be. So my focus as a leader is mostly on bringing absolute precision and clarity to the problem that we are solving, so that we are not thinking six things as a problem. We are thinking one or two things as the main problem that we are solving. This naturally brings clarity to the teams. There is no confusion, there is no dilution of efforts, there's utmost focus. That's one part of it. And every day I have to keep an eye on this, to making sure we shouldn't be distracted. This is what we need to focus. Secondly, on the tech side, it's always the speed. It's always the speed and stability of things, because things change on a daily basis. It's evolving. It's almost like a living system. In the past, we used to be like, okay, let's put these things in a stack. You build it together, you deploy, and then okay, we celebrate. We all have beer and pizza, and we are like, okay, we have done it, and then we can take a break. No, no, it's not like this. It's like a living thing, because the data changes the behavior of such probabilistic systems. The foundational models could drift and see the behavior of how this could happen, and then the guardrails you have in place. So it's constantly evolving. So to be thoughtful about what all things enterprises care about, what are the things which is making it enterprise ready, that's a new thing everybody's learning. And I want to be at best at this, because I'm applying years of the learning through enterprise software background and bringing the new talent, which are very AI native engineering talent, and how we can bring it together. I think that's what makes good engineering, so to speak. It's not just about good model invention and good API orchestration. And yeah, those were the two things which is top of mind for me always.
Gotcha. So I am not an expert in your industry of customer contact centers, but I'd have to imagine that. So you guys bring this great enterprise platform solution for running call centers more effectively, utilizing AI. But I'd imagine the customer has to adopt a lot of the ways they're doing things to take best advantage of that. Is that one of the biggest challenges you have right now?
It's so fascinating, Steve, right? And so today, like one of the largest cable providers in United States, they have about 100 million interactions. By interactions, it could be a phone call or it could be a chat coming through their channel. 100 million. So if
That's
you ask
the
them,
volume is just nuts.
it's and it's one of the modest volumes, I must say, right? But it's a third large cable provider. You think how many times you're calling your cable company to say, okay, when am I getting Indiana Jones and my TV, or whatever about my bill, or I don't know. Like you can imagine the volume, right? Think of this. Think of like your, a telephone provider or your airlines. The volume is only going to be even more higher, right? So you ask me, what's the adoption journey like? These enterprises are like, Priya, 100 million is something what I could serve today. I wish I have the ability so I can serve all those customers who possibly could have called me. Maybe it's 200 million. That's one. Second is, what if I don't have to wait for the call? What if I can proactively service this customer? So Priya travels and I go via Dubai. And then, of course, I'm trying to shop in Dubai. My card is blocked. It says, Priya, somebody is making a $1,500 transaction in Dubai. And I'm frustrated. Damn it, I can't shop in Dubai now. Immediately next,
No Louis Vuitton shoes for you there, right?
and Well, I'm jet lagged. It's in the middle of the night. I don't want to call them and be on the line for 30 minutes and then say, hey, please unblock me. I forgot to tell you guys I'm traveling. But next 2 minutes, I'm getting a text message. Not even 2 minutes. Literally, I haven't even left the shop. 2 minutes, I get a text to say, Priya, I see you, or I see a transaction happening and in Dubai. Please confirm if it's you. And I'm authenticated. We are living in a digital world. It's my phone. As actually, my phone is my wallet too. Like I used to pay. I say, yes, this is me. I'm unblocked. So I shopped actually after that. Guess what? I'm a lifetime loyal member of that company, the card company, because they helped me unblock. I didn't have to, be frustrated in my jet lag time, and they literally unblock me. That's proactive servicing, Steve. I'm a big fan of that experience, right? So to give an example, so these customers are trying to be like, hey, what can I do? I cannot hire another 1,000 agents. I need to be able to solve this problem more proactively. So don't tell me to solve this better is to buy your platform and put more agents. That's they are not interested in. Second is, if you and I are calling, we need to be contained. Containment is the biggest metric. You care and the enterprises care because, hey, when I call, I want my problem to be solved. It's not like I'm calling somebody for time passing. I want the problem to be solved. So companies struggle in containment as well. So when they realize it, so the way ASAP engages is he goes and say, hey, what's best value for your bucks? Where are the choking points? Where are the things you already have digitized, which could be completely taken over by AI to give you that, extra scale? And where are the things where you can drive high containment? That's how we start. As much it sounds simple, you can see that there is a different minds coming together, the experts from their business coming together, somebody who understand what's the pattern of the calls, because a retailer would have a different call and different seasonality, whereas as an airline, you think you have nailed it, but then there is a storm which is happening in Florida. Suddenly, there is a surge of 100 million calls happening because everybody's frantic trying to talk about this. So, this is the different nuances of what happens in a contact center industry. But the adoption is fascinating because it's not just the confidence in tech, it's about the contact center experts, the leaders who run the contact center operation, identifying what are some of the best scenarios to be scaled with AI, what is something which will help them get that containment and customer satisfaction, and what are the things which can be integrated with their backend system. So it's a people, it's a process, it's an enterprise transformation, all gearing towards providing a big customer experience. So there's a incredible change management which has to work in such synchrony, harmonious way. That's kind of the adoption that we are seeing right now.
Gotcha. Now, you
The only
guys
way
are,
to accelerate this, the product experience is so damn good that you just cannot resist not to adopt it.
I like it. So, I mean, you guys, AI is your product. You have this generative agent platform, and you've also held leadership roles at lots of big tech. What is your take? MIT put out a report last month, August of 2025, how 95% of generative AI pilots at companies were failing. And their definition of failure was zero or negative ROI. Why do you think that is, that there's been so many failures or misstarts on integrating AI?
That's a fantastic question. In fact, if you just go to asap.com and LinkedIn, we did publish a point of view or a case study exactly to this very points, because what happens is AI is real. Absolutely, it's real. It's not just a hype, right? And my job as a CEO, as a leader of this company, is to make AI real for enterprises, not just to keep it at a hype level. So MIT case studies talks about a lot of them understanding how this LLM can apply, can be part of my problem, enterprise problem solving. So they are not going all the way to the last mile to see the business metrics or the business impact being done. So it's more of, how can I use this tool? What comes? Oh, can I? Because you just write a prompt, it gives you an output. It's not the same as putting this as part of your enterprise landscape. That's why most of these POCs and pilots look so cool. It's like, oh my God, This LLM can summarize my content, but when you're actually giving a very compliant specific document and you're summarizing particular insights to this, you have a different need to this. So it's about focusing on real metrics. That's kind of where, if enterprises also chose, if they start asking right questions on, my goal is not to make sure that I try 4 different models. My goal is to figure out what's a model which can appropriately solve my problem. My goal is not to write the 10 prompts, which is cool looking to give me the things. My goal is to find the best prompt, which is actually driving my containment. Like, what is the system? And my goal is to actually deploy the model and maintain the version so that my enterprise functions are not disrupted. So there is a different list of questions. In fact, we just published a playbook for enterprises to how to evaluate such AI native systems, or deep, we call it probabilistic systems, to be part of the enterprise landscape. Yeah.
Well, and there's certainly been a lot of misfires out there, and largely because they don't have smart people like you leading the charge.
I take that as a compliment.
Priya, thank you for getting uncensored with us today. I love your journey as an engineer to architect to CTO to CEO, plus being a woman in tech and engineering, which is primarily a male-dominated space. You've accomplished so much. I'm excited to see where ASAP takes contact centers and improves the industry. Before we wrap, what's your no BS advice out there for tech leaders who are trying to build, scale, or even just survive in these interesting times?
Don't be the face of any hype, keeping it real, because as technologists, we have a unique ability to take the advancement of technology and purpose it to real business needs, or either it's improving aspects of mankind, which could be in the research field and in medical sciences field, etc. But there are a lot of enterprise problems out there, which is elevating human capacity, so we can focus on harder problems, improve productivity, etc. So we have this unique superpower. I genuinely feel that this is the era of everybody, one of us feeling like having a superpower, because things which I could only imagine, things I needed more help, I'm able to do today. So it's a power that we all have, and let's, things which has been the way. So it is truly a fifth industry revolution that we are in, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
I love it. Now, what's your advice for women in tech on the engineering side and to succeed in, a male dominated area? What's your playbook that others should replicate?
I grew up in 3 continents, honestly. So I grew up in, southern part of India, and then I lived in Europe for about 10 years almost. And then I moved to United States. So technology has been my identity. It's not the color of my skin. It's not even the gender, because I showed up in rooms where I typically didn't exist, or people like me didn't exist. It could be because of the geographical locations I was in, languages people spoke, culturally. So I carried an avatar or an aura where I showed up in places where typically people didn't see people. So technologist was my identity. Leadership was my identity. So that's where I showed. And when you don't feel the bias, you are not constraining yourself, putting your best version out there. That's what I would recommend. I mean, there's nothing which should stop you. You're the only one who could stop you. And there's so many out there, amazing role models right now, who's willing to help, who's willing to share their journey. I mean, things are evolving. There are very many people who dedicate their time and effort in sharing their wisdom. So it's for all great good. Be part of everything. It's not like there is not a separate table. There's one table and we all are in it, actually.
I love it. Great advice, Priya. Thank you so much. That's it for this episode of Software Leaders Uncensored. I'm Steve Taplin. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, well, I'm going to make sure Priya's technology doesn't get to any call center you do and you're going to be on hold. Or we'll just give it to your competitors. That's probably the edge they're looking for. Remember to fail hard, win big, and always build what matters. See you next time.
That's a wrap.
Another great episode of Software Leaders Uncensored. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun doing this show. I love talking with great tech leaders. As a side note, if you're interested, check out my new book, Fail Hard, Win Big. This is the story of how I built 30 companies, failed on 20, and turned 10 into multi-million-dollar wins. The common thread with all of them was custom software. Also, if you need software development help out there, my company, Sonatify Technology, we deliver world-class software development engineers out of Latin America. We have a solid track record of helping companies launch better products and faster. Thanks again for listening. Appreciate it and appreciate you.